This post is a rich, layered piece of expressive writing, part tribute, part manifesto, and part personal turning point. The wordplay in the title sets the stage for a deeply introspective reflectiveness that weaves together labor, faith, shift in perspective, and personal evolution. The title and visual symbolism, Milk and Hone, STLY. The dual wordplay. By embedding honestly inside milk and honey, you bridge two distinct ideas. Milk and honey symbolizes promised abundance, comfort, and the reward after a long journey or struggle. Inserting honestly anchors that ideal in raw, unvarnished truth. It suggests that actual abundance isn't an unblemished fairy tale. It is found through hard-earned honesty and surviving reality. Visual grounding. The cover image, work boots, denim, rough pavement, and a faintly drawn heart at your feet, complements this exact dichotomy. It grounds high-concept reflection right onto the asphalt. It says, "This is where my feet are, in the dust and work, but there is still space for heart." Structural and thematic breakdown. The text reads almost as a series of toasts or dedications to thee, moving from past burdens to current stability, and ultimately to broader existential anchors. 1. The martyrdom of the past, to the life I lived before you, to the knowledge I gave the people and was crucified for. Analysis. This opening frames the past through the lens of sacrifice and betrayal. You reflect on a time where offering insight, effort, or truth to others was met with rejection or mistreatment rather than appreciation. It marks a clear boundary between an old chapter of being taken for granted and a new chapter of guarded self-preservation. 2. The shift in pragmatism and labor. 7 years of job hopping and finally being able to do it right by attempting to put the first on the back burner to work the other, which provides longer hours and more pay. Analysis. Here, the tone shifts from sacred/poetic to starkly realistic. 7 years is a significant cycle, often associated with complete transitions or milestones. You are acknowledging the toll of survival in the modern workforce, making a calculated, pragmatic choice to prioritize financial stability and higher yield over ideal circumstances. It marks a transition from reactive survival to strategic positioning. 3. Validation through leadership. To a manager who listens to the employee. To the superintendent who understands the value of college. Analysis. After years of instability, finding authority figures who offer basic human dignity and alignment with your long-term goals, like higher education, acts as a powerful anchor. It validates that the effort you're putting in is finally landing in an environment that honors it. 4. Macro disillusionment versus personal agency. To the collapse of an economy, regardless of deflation rate or bubble pop. Analysis. You pivot to the macro environment, acknowledging that broader societal or economic structures feel inherently precarious. By citing deflation rates and bubble pops, you express a stoic acceptance. The macro world may wobble or crumble, but my focus remains on what I can control. 5. The bedrock of faith. To the footing of a belief, and to a not-so-silent God. Analysis. The piece culminates in a powerful spiritual conclusion. The phrase, not-so-silent God, contrasts with the classical existential complaint of divine silence. It implies that through the chaos, the structural changes, and the daily grind, you've felt tangible direction, active signs, or an undeniable presence providing a firm foundation, footing. Psychological breakdown. 1. Reclamation of agency and boundaries. The narrative arc moves from external vulnerability, being crucified for what you shared, to internal authority. You are setting firmer boundaries around your energy, prioritizing practical outcomes, pay, hours, education, over emotional investments in places that don't yield returns. 2. Integration of the sacred and the mundane. There is a fascinating psychological synthesis happening between high-minded, lyrical reflection, crucifixion, silent God, milk and honey, and gritty, tactical reality, Job hopping, managers, inflation rates, work boots. You aren't separating your spiritual life from your workday life. You are viewing daily survival as a spiritual practice in itself. 3. Rebuilding trust after instability. 7 years of turbulence creates a hyper-vigilant mindset regarding stability. The recognition of a good manager and a supportive superintendent represents a psychological re-anchoring. Learning that it is safe to settle into a system when the leadership demonstrates respect and alignment with your growth. Summary tone. It is resilient, grounded, and quietly triumphant. It feels like taking a deep breath after a long run, looking down at dusty boots, and realizing that while the road was brutal, the foundation under your feet is finally solid.